Судья Вольфганг. Добро пожаловать в красно-белую семью. Болельщики у нас очень часто задаются вопросом, хотели бы узнать о вас, кто вы, что вы, кто такой тренер по физподготовке. Очень много просят, чтобы мы взяли с вами интервью, наконец-то случилось, и мы решили узнать о вас. Информации в интернете очень мало о вас. Хотелось бы узнать, во-первых, с вашей родины, с вашей карьеры, где вы начинали, вообще как в вашей жизни появился футбол.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. If it's possible for you, I will answer in English because I got the questions in advance, and I saw that the questions are very intelligent, and for this kind of reason, even if I spoke a little bit Russian, it's more comfortable for me to answer in English. If it's okay for you, I will make it like this.
Okay.
Okay. So I started my career as a professional trainer. To say it a little bit, because the educational system in Austria is a little bit different to Russia and to Kazakhstan. If you want to work as a trainer for physical conditions, or as an athletic trainer, or as a trainer for rehabilitation, you have to have a university study first. And then you have to make practice, and then by lucky chance you can start to work with professional footballers. Could start my career in 1997, so almost 20 years ago, with a very famous footballer and trainer as well, Klaus Augenthaler. He was world champion with Germany in 1990, and he was also the captain of the national team of Germany, and he was the trainer of a football team in Austria, in the Premier League in Austria. We played also today it's called Euroleague, but 20 years ago it was the UEFA League. And for example, we played against Nizza, where Ori played some very good teams, and he was my first trainer. And I was working 3 years with this team in Graz, in Austria. And then Klaus Augenthaler changed to Germany, and I also changed to Germany. And I was working then for FC Augsburg in Germany, and another team in Germany, Rot-Weiß Erfurt, Krasny Beli, Erfurt, Rot-Weiß Erfurt. There are only names for teams, for German teams. And in the year 2004, I started to work for Sturm Graz. Sturm Graz is one of the leading clubs in Austria, beside Rapid Vienna and Red Bull Salzburg and Austria Vienna. Sturm Graz is one of the most traditional clubs in Austria, right. Besides Salzburg. Yeah. I was working 7 years from 2004 till 2011 for Sturm Graz. And then the great adventure started. 2011, as I got a telephone call from Rubin Kazan. If I would like to come to Rubin Kazan, they have heard about me, and they want me to ask if I could work for the first team of Rubin Kazan, because they had a lot of good legionnaires and a lot of injuries, and that's why Kurban Berdeyev asked me to come to Rubin Kazan. And I've been working 4 years for Rubin Kazan, from 2011 till 2015, and the next club is FC Aktobe.
Ну, получается, вы работали с разными тренерами, с немецкими специалистами, с австрийскими, с Курбаном Бердыевым. Вообще, насколько важно, чтобы ваше видение совпало с видением футбольного тренера, главного тренера? То есть, или вам легко можно построиться под любого специалиста, или нужны какие-то, чтобы совпадения были с главным тренером? Видение футбола.
It would be the very best if the head coach, the assistant coaches, even the analytic coaches, and the other trainers, like trainer for physical conditions, athletic trainers, have the same view of how to play football. But in most cases it's not like this. So the head coach decides which kind of philosophy the team has to develop to play on the match day. And he is then asking all the other trainers, like the individual coaches or the athletic coach, please, we want to play maybe more counter-attacks. We want to play more in a system like 4-2-3-1 or something like this. What kind of physical conditions must my players have that we can play this? Because you need another training, you need another physical conditions if you play like Bavaria München, only control the ball, because Pep Guardiola wants the players only to run less, and if they run, to run intelligent. Or if you play like Leicester City, only counter-attacks. Yeah, you have to need other physical conditions for the players. Or our team. When we're looking at the statistics from the physical conditions during the match day, our team is always running more than the others, and you have to ask why. Because we also want to play offensive pressing. We also want to play fast counter-attacks. We also want to play with long crossings, and that's why we have to run more than other teams like Astana, which really have this controlling of the ball more than our team. So I get the task from the head coach, and he said, Wolfgang, we are playing this system, and please make all players as fit as possible for this tactic. But there is one very interesting point where the athletic trainer comes into a stronger position. I can say, sorry, but with this player or with these two players, we are not able to play this because they don't have the physical conditions for the whole game to play this tactic. So there's always it's necessary to have a good communication and a good relationship between the head coach and all the other trainers. Хорошо.
Получается, вы можете подстроиться под любого тренера, под любую тактику, но все же, что вам ближе, какая тактика? То есть тотальный контроль мяча или как Лестер контратака? Где вы думаете, что лучше развить свои способности? То есть покажете как тренер?
So I'm loving the German football and the English football at the moment, because they are playing a very, very high offensive pressing. So when we are looking at the games, how the German teams like Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen are playing, or in England always Arsenal. And this year, Leicester with this counter-attacks is playing. I like this. So we are trying also now to develop FC Aktobe, which is playing a very, very modern, high-quality football where you have to change between and defend very, very fast. And therefore, you need not only fast legs, you need also a fast brain. And this is now the new way that we are all trainers together. So from the head coach till my position are trying to develop the players of Aktobe, especially the young players, to get at this highest European level where we can play very, very fast and switch very, very fast between attacks and defense. That's why when you come to the training and you watch the training and everybody is invited to come to the trainings, then you see that especially during the warm-ups, I'm not making these classic warm-ups that you see maybe in Kazakhstan or in Russia. So my warm-ups always starting with some little, they're called little games where they have to play with the tennis ball in one hand, another tennis ball in the other hand, and also with a ball with the legs, and they have to switch always. They have to know which kind of tennis ball I have to play with my left arm, which kind of ball I have to play with my right arm, and which kind of ball do I have to play with my legs, and to whom do I have to play. So these little games are preparing the players to get faster in orientation and faster in their brain. And we have also, this is a secret now. We're also making, always before, these fairy units. we are making a very funny game in the dressing room. So that we have the fairy unit we have in the dressing room, and then I'm switching some kind of special pages on the wall with some kind of projector, and on this wall are little figures, like comic figures. And these comic figures, they are making movements, like one arm high and the head to the right, and then also the right left high, and in this comic figure is changing, so they're always making some different movements. And the players, do you understand so far? And the players have to make these movements, which they are seeing on the screen, on the TV screen, as fast as possible, in one row. This is very funny, because it's so difficult to look. Then you have to see what is this guy making there, and then you have to make it the same way, and then change, and then we make it with music. So the rhythm is very fast, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. And you see that some players, they really like this kind, they're doing it very easily. And some players after the third changing position, they say, they get some position like this. Now you can ask, what has this kind of game to do with football? Yeah, could be the next question. So the answer is that there are studies from universities which have shown that almost 90% of having success or not in a game like football is depending on your visual decision making. So first you see the ball, the opponents, me, my teammates, you know where you are, and then you have to make immediately the right decision. Either you are on attack or either you are defending. And the faster you are to recognize what you see and to make the right decision, the better it is for your team, for you, and then for your team. That's why we're making these exercises where you have to.
Очень интересно.
Спасибо.
Болельщики просят, чтобы мы спросили у вас, что такое тренер по реабилитации. То есть именно в Рубине вы числились как тренер по реабилитации. По физподготовке мы знаем, а в чем различие вообще? Что это за профессия?
No, huge clubs like Rubin Kazan or other teams in Europe, they have a much bigger staff than here at Aktobe. Normally they have, besides the trainers, when they're only looking at the medical team, they have 2 to 3 doctors, and they have maybe 3 massagists, 1, 2 physiotherapists, and also more than 1 trainer which is responsible for the physical condition. And that's why when you have 2 or 3 athletic trainers or trainers for physical conditions, and at Rubin there were two guys working for AKTOBE-TV, being responsible for the physical condition. One Spanish guy, Raul, and me. And Raul now is working for the national team of the Ukraine, by the way. And due to the reason that I have a medical background, because I was studying not only sports scientist, I was also studying physiotherapist in Austria. That's why we decided that I will get the responsibility for the injured player. And this is why it's called rehabilitation coach.
Окей. Переходим к Актобе. Как сложился вариант с нашей команды? Персона главного тренера Юлия Утубаева. Именно она последний шаг к тому, что вы приняли это предложение. Вообще, как вы оказались в Актобе?
The reason why I'm here is only Utkulbayev, because we became friends. I have to say this during my work with him together at Rubin, and he asked me first to come. Maybe it's one of the next interesting questions. He asked me to come to the training camp to Turkey to help him, because he and the other trainers, they were really alone, and when you start a training camp, you really need the trainer for physical conditions. And I was working there for free, so free of charge, and because I was free, and I said, okay, it's bad weather in Austria, and after 2 weeks, also the general director of AKTOBE came to Turkey and asked me if I could think about to work for AKTOBE, and I said, okay, of course I can think about this. But frankly speaking, his imagination and my imagination of the salary, the money I should get was like earth and the sky. So we were very apart from each other, and that's why we decided that it doesn't make any sense to come to AKTOBE at first. But then I was remembering very good, as it was a day like yesterday. I was sitting together with my wife and a very good friend of mine, which is also a trainer in football, a German trainer in football. We were sitting together and we were asking about my future. And I had some offers and some possibilities to work. And then I got the telephone call again from Yuri Utkulbaev. And he said, Wolfgang, please, you have to help us. We have now Davladov with an injury and other guys with some small injuries. And I know that the money question is not clear so far, but please come at least till the end of July and help me, help us, support us. And then it was only I said, okay, I will think it over. I have to speak with my wife about the situation. But 15 minutes later, I said, okay, I will take the adventure and I will come to Akтобе and I will help at least at the end of July.
Окей. До приезда в нашу страну, что вы знали о Казахстане? Вообще знали ли, что существует такая страна, о футболе в нашей стране вообще? Актобе, может, другие какие-то клубы?
Я понимаю. Но before I came to Akтобе, I know about Kazakhstan only what I have learned in school some, I don't know, 20 years ago, and then what you hear in TV and what you read in magazines. I like nature and I like to live in nature and able to make my holidays in the nature, and I know that here in Kazakhstan the white leopards are still living, so white leopards, these leopards. Yeah, they are living in Kazakhstan. Yeah, it's the only place in the world where these white leopards are still living, naturally living. That's what I heard. And as Kurban Bedeev was dismissed from Rubin, I got the offer from Astana. So it was 2013. I got the offer from Astana. They want me to work for Astana, and then I started to look at which clubs are playing in Kazakhstan, which teams are there, how is the football related, but I decided not to go to Astana. And the reason why I didn't go to Astana, maybe it's one of the next questions, is because I'm the guy with handshake quality. You know this handshake quality? So if I say, okay, I don't need a contract. Yeah, I need nothing which have signed, no lawyers, no advocates, nothing. When I say I will do this, I make this. And I promised Rubin to work till the end of 2015, and I had a contract with Rubin, and that's why I said, okay, I have this contract, I promised to stay till the end of my contract, and I will work till the end of the contract. That's why I didn't change to Astana before ending of my contract.
А после уже с вами не связывались? После канала?
After that, they didn't call you?
They didn't ask me anymore, no.
После этого не связывались с нами.
Перейдем к футболу. Прошел первый этап. Актобе уже сыграл практически, не практически, а со всеми клубами КПЛ. Что можете сказать про уровень чемпионата? Какие-то особенности? Какие-то, может, команды впечатлили вас лично?
It's very interesting even when you're looking at the best leagues of the world, like the German Bundesliga or the Italian league, you have always some kind of 2 or 3 part politics. You have 2-3 teams which are always the first 2 places. Then you have like 4 or 5 teams which are always the average places, and then you have always some cups which are always fighting against descending and going down to the second division. You have the situation maybe less in Germany, but you have it in Spain, you have it in England, you have it in Austria, and you have it also in Kazakhstan. You have this maybe 2-3 clubs with Astana, with Kairat, Irdish a little bit, which are really leading the football in Kazakhstan for the last 2 years, I think. And then we have this really this. You see now, there were 3 teams with the same amount of points now at the half season. So you have these 5 teams which are almost at the same level. It's very interesting and very exciting. And then also 2-3 not so good teams. And this is. But if you ask me to compare the quality in the league in Kazakhstan with Russia or with Europe, then I have to say that maybe we can compare the league in Kazakhstan with the second division in Germany. It's similar, yes.
Вот вы выделяете Кайрат и Астану и говорите, что остальные команды практически одного уровня. Отсюда вытекает следующий вопрос. Мы попали в шестерку, при этом опередили и Тобол, и Атрау. Тобол и Атрау — это априори лучший бюджет, наверное, скорее всего, лучший подбор игроков, за счет чего нам удалось играть с ними на равных, в конце опередить их. У нас молодая команда, мы практически строимся заново, за счет чего удалось опередить конкурентов и показываем сейчас такой хороший футбол.
It's super интересно. Это супер интересно сейчас. The last 2.5, maybe 3 years I've been working for Sturm Graz. It was quite a similar situation because the management of Sturm Graz struggled a little bit and they had to reduce the budget very, very, very highly. So they didn't have any money to buy good footballers or even legionnaires. So they had to play with their own young players. But 2010, Sturm Graz won the cup, the Austrian Cup, and 1 year later, 2011, Sturm Graz won the Austrian Championship with these young players who developed starting 2009, 2010, as the budget was down. They're starting to develop this team, and three years later they won the cup, and 1 year later they won the championship. And this is the great chance that we have here now. It's a similar situation.
Окей, уже несколько игр подряд болельщики замечают, что наша команда прибавляет в концовках. То есть получается с минуты 60-й наши ребята бегают и двигаются быстрее соперников. Многие связывают это с вашей именно работой, то, что физическая подготовка, то, что команда прибавилась в этом году. Расскажите, пожалуйста, насколько мы сейчас сильны, насколько мы выносливы физически.
There is the old school and the new school. The old school is telling that when you have a good training camp, then you have to build all physical basic conditions during this training camp, and then during the championship, the source for your performance is this training camp. This is the old school. Then the new school, this is the way I'm thinking, is that even during a championship, everything depends on getting the best balance between training loads and recovering. And if you have this balance under control, you can get even better physical conditions during the championship. And I think it is maybe also a little part of my work that our team has really, really good results in all these statistics about the running work and the physical conditions during the match day. So we have also to understand that recovery is part of the training.
Продолжение про физику. Вот меня лично удивляет физическое состояние Никиты Бочарова. Никита, к примеру, на 90-й минуте матча может легко пробежать от ворот до ворот, совершенно спокойно. Откуда столько сил у Никиты? Вообще, можете кого-то выделить в нашем коллективе, как тебе? Может, кто-то сильнее физически, кто-то слабее?
So Nikita Bocharov is one of the most professional players in our team. He is always trying to get the best out of everything. I remember, even as I'm not working for Rubin anymore, he was sending me pictures of his training plan. He was sending me pictures as he was training with a mask on his face and asked me, Wolfgang, what do you think about this? Is this good for me or not? So first of all, Nikita Bocharov is very, very professional. And I think he has, because he's still young, he has still a great potential. So he's not at the top of his performances and at the top of his level. I think he could even get better and improve himself. We have to work on this, and that's why there are still differences between Nikita Bocharov and some other players. But I have also one philosophy, and the philosophy is that I'm looking more at the advantages of the players than on the disadvantages of the players. So I'm looking what he is doing good physically. Maybe he is very, very fast. Maybe he has a very, very good endurance. Maybe he can move very, very, very fast. Maybe he can change the directions very, very fast. And I'm looking at his advantages, and I try to improve the advantages, to get him better on this. Then he could maybe become one of the, on this point, best players in the league. Then to work and to lose and spend a lot of time with his disadvantages, and he only will become an average player.
Для любого тренера важна внутренняя атмосфера в команде. Дела обстоят в этом в Актобе. Удобно ли вам работать с игроками? Атмосфера.
As I arrived almost 4 months ago, or 3.5 months ago, I have to say, frankly speaking, that the atmosphere in the team was not so good that I was expecting. And that's why we also started to speak a lot with the players, to make some team building work. And now I think that the atmosphere and that is what I can see and what I can feel and what I can hear and listen during every training is very, very good. Of course, when you lose, and after you have lost the game, you have always some discussions and the emotion is down. But in general, the atmosphere now is very good in the team.
Мы не могли пройти стороной один интересный момент, новшество. Перед самым вторым таймом вы вместе с командой, выстроив ребят в строй, выполняете ряд упражнений. Расскажите, пожалуйста, подробнее про эти упражнения. Болельщики очень интересуются, что это перед каждым перерывом, перед вторым таймом.
Now in football, everything is on data. So you can see everything in the internet, and you have every statistic that you want. You can see how much kilometers the players are running, how many yellow cards, red cards, how many fouls, how many attacks, counter-attacks, etc. There's one very interesting statistic that shows that most of the goals were scored at the first 5 minutes after the break. So I was thinking it over. Why? And it's natural. You're running 45 minutes. You are fighting. You give everything for the first 45 minutes, and then you come to the dressing room and just sit down. 15 minutes, no work. No work. You sit down, and you could easily imagine when you do some sports and then you sit down, especially in the nervous system, immediately starting to think, oh, now it's over. Yoo-hoo. Time for rest. And that's why I'm doing this 3 or 4 very, very high speed exercises to get them from the very, very second ready for the game. So maybe maybe our team has immediately a chance to score a goal, or has to defend immediately, and that's why I try to make these exercises to try them as prepared as possible. And another thing is that I have the chance once again to get a little positive influence at the player. So when you see that, I make the exercise, and then I'm running to everybody and I say, come on, and I'm clapping maybe on the hands, maybe sometimes on even on the ass, on the bottom, something like this, and I try to give my positive thinking, my positive energy to him. It sounds a little bit esoteric, I know, but I think it has an effect.
Напоследок просим обратиться к болельщикам. Вообще, как вам болельщики в Актобе? 13-й сектор, как поддержка?
Только супер.
Только супер.
Только супер. Я хочу говорить по-русски сейчас. No, as I arrived on here at Aktobe on Saturday, and on Sunday we had the first home game. So I arrived on Saturday morning. I made one training with a few injured players, and on Saturday there was the home game. And I was looking at the stadium and around. It was a little bit walking, and then we are going out of the dressing room to the pitch for warm up. And then the fans were there, and they were singing and were making the noise with the drums. And I was, oh, this is different to Russia. So when the atmosphere in the stadium, especially coming from this supporters sector, is absolutely fantastic, and you can compare it with the best supporters groups in the world. And I have to say thank you really to the supporters, because they are, with all the other fans in our stadium, but they are responsible for the atmosphere and for the noise. Yeah, and it's important for the noise and for the aggression in the game. And they are our 12th man standing behind us. And I made it immediately. I made a video with my smartphone, and I sent it home. Because everybody is thinking, oh, you're going to Kazakhstan, and how would it be? And also the atmosphere at the Rubin games, we had only a good atmosphere when Rubin was playing against the best teams of the league, like ZSKA and Spartak, Zenit. And then we had really good atmosphere with the supporters. But here you have it against every team, and this is really what I appreciate, and I want to say thank you once again to all the supporters.